It's Wednesday, November 27th. Digital Trends Live is about to start here. Some of the topics we're going to cover on today's show. Another day, another way that Alexa wants to be your buddy. With Amazon announcing some skill updates that will now allow the voice assistant to better sympathize with you. And with all of the latest announcements from Apple, it can be hard to decide which MacBook is right for you. We'll have Luke Larson on the show to walk through the best options available. Plus, ever wonder what pieces of tech you can actually bring with you on a plane? Well, just in time for the travel season, we'll have Lisa Farbstein from the TSA to answer all of our questions. And with the holidays now officially upon us, it's time to start planning out your gifts. If you're like me, though, you may need a little bit of help picking up the coolest things. But fear not, Digital Trends is here for the rescue. We'll take you through a list of our newly released holiday gift guide. All that and more coming up on today's Digital Trends Live. Ryan, I am so excited about the tech that we're talking about today, I can barely contain myself.
I could tell that. This
is Digital Trends Live. This is our daily show here from Digital Trends, bringing you the trending tech topics of the day, news, interviews, headlines, and so much more. And we're broadcasting live from our Samsung QLED 4K studio, and we're live on a number of different platforms. We're on Periscope, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Dailymotion, Apple News, 2 different mobile apps, a smart television app, and at digitaltrends.com/live. Almost all in one breath that time, but I will get there, I promise you. And we are live, so we can take your comments and questions as we go throughout the show, so feel free to drop those in there. Whatever you want to bring up, we will read them. Sometimes we'll even respond to them. But let's get going here. I'm Greg Nibbler, joined by Ryan Juanita. Hello, Ryan.
Hello.
You seem very festive today for the holiday season.
How many cups of coffee does it take for you to be able to talk about all of those devices?
All of them.
Is it 3 cups or 4 cups?
It depends on the day. Today's
cups.
a 4-cup day. All right, let's get going here. Let's talk about some trending tech topics. There is so much to get to, and we started off yesterday talking about a new development with Alexa, with the Amazon Smart Home Assistant, as far as how it can help you out. But now we've got another one. So another day, another rollout from Alexa. This time, Alexa wants to sympathize with you. So this is the update. It's for developers to where they can now add in different tones of voice for the responses depending on what it is.
Yeah.
So this is all part of training these smart home assistants to seem more like a human-like interaction, feel more, so you're more comfortable. And this is what it came out with. So this is from the Alexa Skills blog, and Amazon's Catherine Gao said this update will have 2 new capabilities: emotions and speaking styles. So it's designed to create, quote, a more natural and intuitive voice experience for people that use the digital assistant. So some of the examples that they're giving are this. You know, essentially, they used sports for one example, to where, you know, if you want to ask, like, hey, Alexa, how did the Broncos do this week?
They did not do well.
And it turns out, if they respond saying, well, they didn't do very well, Ryan,
yeah,
that's probably not the same response as saying, well, they didn't do very well, Ryan.
You're right.
So that's kind of how they're balancing it out, to give you a more realistic response.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that would just make me more mad.
You know, would it upset you?
I don't need your sympathy, Alexa. I don't need your pity.
Well, Ryan, brace yourself. They lost again.
I don't want to talk about this, but you have a really crappy backup quarterback.
Well, I don't know if it's going to go that far into it, to where you can complain back and forth about that. But wish John Elway was still here,
it's Brandon Allen.
But yeah, so this is what we're looking at with this. So it's part of this overall push with all of the different assistants to make them more personal, to make them feel more like you're interacting with a human, which is a big push with everything. Robotics, artificial intelligence, all of it is to get that to where it's more seamless and you feel like you are having a conversation. So part of it is the different tones, so the different emotions that you can have with it when you're interacting with it, but then also, walking through some of these other things, the speaking styles, and that comes into play as well. So whether it's upbeat, fast, slow, depending on what it is that it's talking about. So if it's news, it'll give a more newsy speaking style.
Yeah.
Or if it's music, it'll talk about music in a different way.
Yeah, it seems like a significant upgrade or update, depending on how much it's actually deployed and how well it works.
Yeah.
It's a pretty ambitious idea to have it be that personalized to your information, for one thing, to know which your teams are and all that, which I suppose if you use it enough, it will. But then to also respond in kind, to work towards the moment and to actually give you the correct response. I mean, it's going to be
Right.
really interesting to see how this works. If it backfires, if it tries to
Yeah.
be really excited when it shouldn't be, because that could make it even more annoying.
That's true.
And again, it's like, do people want a device that's basically just playing Spotify for them or giving them the weather to sympathize with them? Or is that
Yeah.
creepy, or is it just annoying? So this is going to be a really interesting one for those who use Alexa stuff every day.
Yeah, it probably depends on the use cases, because if you are just using it for music, maybe you won't even notice
Right.
it as much. Yeah, but for more people, and they want more people to interact on a more general basis all the time with the device. Naturally, that's what they want to have happen. So they feel that this is a way that's going to get somebody to interact more. I want to know, since we're broadcasting live, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like Ryan might feel, whether it would just kind of make you a little bit mad if it was trying to sympathize with you, or is that something that you want to have, you want to feel when you're talking to your device? You want to feel like it understands your tone and how you're feeling. Definitely an interesting move for them.
I also feel like if it's done really well, that the subtleties of it will be, such
You're not
that
gonna notice.
you're not going to notice right away. You'll just feel better about your smart system. Like, that is the idea, right? It's like, if it's subtle enough and it's not jarring, then that's how it starts to work and starts to roll off of that. You expect many more updates to get it more fine-tuned, and I'm sure they're going to be taking feedback, but this will be an interesting one.
Yeah, and we're going to see more and more of this, and this is just a couple of things that they've rolled out in the last week. So the other one they rolled out was it now interacts with medicine. So as far as you can talk to it about your you can order pharmaceuticals. It can remind you when you need to take medicine. So there's a whole other discussion on that one. So it's just the last couple of days these things rolling out. We'll see what else comes out, especially with Black Friday happening and Cyber Monday and Amazon making a huge push to sell their smart home devices.
Yeah.
You'll have to see where it goes. All right, continuing on here, talking about some other trending news. You can read all about that other one at digitaltrends.com. Let's talk about Twitter. So this is a big announcement that Twitter made, where they are going to start deleting accounts that have been delinquent, or delinquent in the fact that they haven't posted in, they're saying, 6 months or more. This is a pretty big move.
That's not fair. I mean, that's pretty much all of my followers.
Oh, God, I didn't think about that. I'm going to lose a lot of followers over this. I didn't put it in that context now that you said that. So yeah, what they're going to be doing is they're trying to clear out some of this backlog of accounts that just haven't been used. And they're saying, this is from a statement from them, as part of our commitment to serve the public conversation, we're working to clean up inactive accounts to present more accurate, credible information people can trust across Twitter. It doesn't seem quite how that ties in. I don't quite
really
understand
know how
that.
that ties in. I suppose it's just robot accounts and all of the rogue accounts and stuff like that. That's probably what they're looking at.
And that should be cleared up. They're saying that they want people to post more, because that's one of the things they encourage for active dialogue, and naturally they want people engaging in their platform. So they're going to start cleaning these out. But a couple of things with that, if they do that, that's going to start clearing up all these old usernames, all these handles.
True.
That will now become available.
Yeah.
Our own Jeremy Kaplan was talking about this today. I saw him post something, and he's like,
Smash dog.
Smash dog safe.
Is that from
Nobody's
just
taking
because he couldn't find anything better? Is that why he was talking about?
I don't know. I'm going to let you handle that one. But yeah, I don't know how Smashdog came to be. But he did post something about how the @Twinkie handle may become available. And I went and clicked on it. I'm like, oh, it's just some account that hasn't used it in years that still has the @Twinkie handle and wants to sell it. I mean, that was part of the thing. When you have like a new social media network pop up, it's like a gold rush to go claim all these handles and names.
Or a video game or anything.
Or a video game, whatever it is. And that's what kind of happened with Twitter.
There's never a good name left.
No, it always happens. And then you also have, other accounts that are burner accounts or troll accounts that people have used on Twitter.
No, it sounds like the right move, but yeah, it's going to be... It sounds like it's going to have more effects than what we're thinking about. I guess I just don't know how many dormant accounts are out there and what they're doing. But
I don't know either.
This could be interesting too.
Yeah, I mean, and another thing that somebody brought up too was just, if they start doing this, there's also that whole idea of legacy accounts. Like Facebook has, their legacy accounts, and Twitter, for somebody who passes away. Like if somebody passes away, it's like,
of course, and that'd be dormant
memoriam
for a long time,
and all that. Yeah, but if Twitter doesn't have that, so if it's gone, it's gone. They don't archive that themselves. So
I feel like it's more of a Facebook thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something interesting. If you think about like a celebrity or something, they're going to delete celebrity accounts? Probably not.
Yeah, maybe not.
On a selective basis, but still, it's an interesting debate to have. Just when also you consider that, the president's tweets are considered official statements. So if they're just going to start deleting accounts, then
well, don't worry, that one's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I know that one's not going anywhere.
But
in the context, we don't need to get into that discussion.
It should have been.
Thrifty, thanks for the heads up on Twitter. Going to make a post. Wait, I missed what it was, but just like that. See, it's just like Twitter deleting it. It was gone. So yeah, but talking about some of the different things with that. So it's an interesting discussion to have. So there it is. Returned. Thanks for the heads up on Twitter. Going to make a post on my neglected account now, so maybe it won't get deleted. Yeah, that's what I think a lot of people are doing. So that's kind of what we're telling everybody is log in and post something.
But also, if you haven't made a post in 6 months, why are you there?
Do you need it? Yeah.
You probably have other accounts, other social networks that you care about much more. So.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it kind of depends. I mean, if you're a business, maybe, and you should be posting on it more.
You should be posting.
but make sure that you save that. Go in there and post something. Otherwise, I'm going to snatch it up, and then we'll have to sell it back to you. All right, so anyway. That is what's going on. That is what Twitter is announcing. So you can take a look at that at digitaltrends.com.
Greg's Cupcakes.
Yeah, Greg's Cupcakes. All right, we've got a couple more stories here, and then we're going to take a break. We'll have Caleb Dennison, who's going to be joining us in just a few from our AV room to talk about Samsung televisions. Right now, though, let's talk about artificial intelligence. This is a story that's kind of breaking today, and it has to do with a game called Go. Now, Ryan, I know you weren't sure what Go was,
yeah,
and
that's
fine. I don't
know what I'm talking about.
No, you're not the only one who's not familiar with that. It's what it is. It's a game. It's a board game that's one of the most popular games in the world. It's one of the oldest continuous games that people can play, and the reason why this is big is the game of Go. There's big competitions that go on in Asia for this. Is very complicated to where there's millions of different combinations of how you can win. So it's very complicated. It takes a lot of strategy to win at it, and that's why it's a very challenging game. So Google, of course, took their DeepMind, which is their artificial intelligence offshoot, and they wanted to create an AI that could beat the world champions in Go. Because it's so complicated, they were like, okay, this is a challenge that we can pick up. And they did it.
Yeah.
So they came up with this AlphaGo AI that in 2016, it beat the world champion and beat him 4 matches to 1 and won. And it was like, okay, great. AI just beat the world champion. Nobody thought this was possible. There's no way AI could figure this out. And then it went on and continued. They developed another one past that. It was AlphaGo 0, and what happened is the world champion, who is Lee Sedol, who was beat then, continued playing for a while, but now he has announced that he has retired, and the statement is this: with the debut of AI in Go games, I've realized that I'm not at the top, even if I become the #1 through frantic efforts. Even if I become the #1, there is an entity that cannot be defeated. That is the statement that they came out with. Very dramatic, but also it's one of those things like, oh great, well AI just won. AI just defeated him in spirit, it sounds like.
And chess champions are going, welcome to 1996.
Yeah,
because
true.
That's when Deep Blue, IBM's computer, started beating world chess champions.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know Go, so I assume it's much more complicated, which is why this is a big deal. But this is the way of things, right? Strategy games especially, computers are good at that kind of stuff. And now I'll start getting, maybe not worried, but I'll start getting more interested when these Alexa emotions start working well. And when when that starts to happen. But strategy games, I think, are sort of there for the picking for computers. And again, I don't know what I'm talking about because I don't know how complicated Go actually is.
Right. I mean, I
how
don't
much of
play
a human
it either,
element there is to it, but this is something that we're getting used to, ever since Deep Blue back in the day.
Well, it is something that is happening. The AI is beating all of us, and this man just
I never thought I had a chance.
Just quit, just defeated. So that's just a story that's trending right now. What did you know about that? We got one more here. When it comes to Disney Plus, there have been a number of things that have worked well, but a lot that hasn't in the rollout. And they have fixed one of those now, and that is the continue watching feature that we're so used to with Netflix. Now, finally, Disney Plus has brought this back. Or brought it to it, rather, in general.
Yeah, like a week later.
Yeah. Ryan, I know that you wanted to make a statement here on the show about your supposed influence.
You're welcome, America. Yeah. This was in my this is something that I talked about in my review, and it was one of the major reasons that I gave it, not the best score. I gave it a 3 out of 5, and it's we assumed that this was going to get better, so it's probably going to be something I'll update as more features come on. We'll probably adjust the score.
Yeah.
All of the content was there, but they just didn't build it out very well, and it's really interesting to me to see that they could do it so quickly. I think that's the thing that really kind of boggles the mind is if you could do it in, what is it, 2 weeks after launch.
Yeah, why didn't you already have it out?
Why couldn't you do it for launch? And you knew you needed it unless you just literally didn't watch Netflix before you made this entire streaming service.
Right.
So I'm so confused. How did this not come out? And of course, yes, it's coming out, but it's coming out to different devices at different times. They don't have a unified device, unified streaming system like Netflix does, which when they roll out an update, it's basically universal across every device.
Yeah.
So Disney Plus doesn't have that yet, so we'll have to see, how that works. I'm still waiting for some of their Dolby Atmos and their 4K stuff to align with how it's supposed to on the shows it's supposed to. There's been talk that The Mandalorian isn't delivering HDR. I wasn't able to get the Mandalorian in Atmos, which I know isn't a huge deal to everyone, but it's one of those things that you were promised and didn't work. So there's still stuff going on, but I guess it's nice that they're getting the basics.
Well, you got that now, so at least you can continuously watch or go back to watching what you were watching when you were trying to watch The Mandalorian. So all of that you can read about at digitaltrends.com and all those other issues that Ryan brought up as well.
Yeah.
And I know we need to get to a break because we've got a lot to pack into this show. There is so much that we're going to be discussing. We're going to have Lisa from the TSA joining us a little bit later in the show to talk about what tech you can or cannot bring on the plane. So if you have questions, drop those in whatever platform you're on. Ryan, thank you.
Absolutely.
And coming up next, we're going to have Caleb Dennison. He's going to be talking about television. So stick around, back here in a minute with more Digital Trends Live.
Apollo 11, your go for separation.
TV is making history again. The groundbreaking Samsung QLED 8K.
Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We do appreciate everybody who tunes in every day. We broadcast live at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, and we like to keep you on top of what's going on in technology. And televisions are certainly something we're all interested in, and Samsung's top-tier lineup is incredible, but each one kind of serves a different purpose and different needs for different people. And to help us walk through all of that, we have our senior editor, Caleb Dennison. No one is a better expert than Caleb here, and Caleb's going to walk us through all of those. He's in our AV room right now. I'm going to hand it off to him. Caleb, take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. Man, I'm having a lot of fun this week. For a TV geek like myself, this is definitely good times. And part of the reason why is that I've got 3 top-tier Samsung TVs all in one place, all at one time, which is a very rare occurrence. And I get to show them to you. So how fun is that? How can Samsung have 3 top-tier TVs? Isn't like the top? I get it. But the thing is, Samsung has broken out their TV line in such a way that it serves very different needs for different folks. And that's what I want to talk about today. Samsung got everything covered from design to a look to the future. And then, of course, the stuff that you're very familiar with. You see it all over the place. Samsung's top-tier 4K HDR TV. This is the Samsung Q90R. We've looked at this a few times before. This is Samsung's top-tier 4K HDR TV. And there's a few things that make it special. I'll start with the backlighting scheme. It's a full array of backlights, lots of LEDs back there, and they're all individually dimmed in zones. So that allows the TV to achieve really great contrast levels. Also, it's one of the brightest TVs that you can buy right now. It is exceptionally good at doing HDR highlights, and I think that's a really big deal because HDR is what really makes an image leap off the screen. If your resolution is your foundation, your specular HDR highlights are the dazzle, right? It just really pops out at you. Also, it makes for a much more realistic looking image because we see more of the shades, both in color and in terms of brightness, that we see in real life. That's the magic of HDR. And there's a ton of great HDR stuff to watch out there. So launch your favorite streaming service. If the title's available in HDR, the TV automatically goes to the right mode and you're seeing the very best picture quality. There's more automation involved as well. Plug your device into this and it's going to automatically recognize what that device is. Say we plug in an Xbox. It knows it's an Xbox, programs your remote, renames the input, and actually it'll allow you to use the remote to control the Xbox, believe it or not, which is really, really convenient. And speaking of playing games, a couple other notable things about this TV. One is that it has very low input lag when you're in the game mode, which is crucial for playing first-person shooters online. I'll also mention that it has auto low latency mode, and that basically means that when the TV senses that you're playing a video game, it automatically goes into game mode. You don't have to hunt for it with the remote, and you're automatically getting that low input lag without any interaction from you whatsoever. And finally, there's variable refresh rate. So the screen can actually change its refresh rate to match the needs of the game you're playing, which is great for eliminating screen tearing and some of the judder that we've seen in the past. So it's an extremely smooth and very quick gaming experience. The other thing I want to point out about this television is that it's got a special layer in the screen that allows you to move well off to the side, but not lose contrast or color saturation. That's been a problem with TVs in the past. Samsung devised a really great solution. So you can step well off to the side of this TV. Maybe you have a big sectional couch at home, and there's people hanging out off to the side all the time. You want them to also get the great picture quality that you're getting if you're sitting right smack in front of it, and that's definitely available with this television. We'll talk about the One Connect box in just a moment because I think that's also very special, but I want to move on to something completely different. So one of these TVs is not like the other. One of these TVs is not the same. One of these TVs is called the Frame, and I think you probably figured it out by now. I'm talking about this piece of art right here. And that's kind of the key. It doesn't look like a TV, it looks like a piece of art. And that was to address a problem that has kind of surfaced over the last few years as more and more often we're putting our TVs up on the wall. When you turn them off, it's just a big black void. And for as much effort as we put into the decor of our homes these days, that just doesn't make sense. This was a somewhat obvious solution, but Samsung just finally brought it to us. This is called the Frame, and it is called such because it looks like a frame. This is not built to look like a TV, it's built to look like a work of art. Now you can mount it right up on your wall, which is a very popular thing to do, but you can also get this really great easel stand with the TV as well. There are a number of different options. What's different about this TV, though, besides just having an art-like frame, is how it handles the images that it puts on the screen as art. So first, let's start with the fact that Samsung has an art store. Right out of the box, you get access to, I think, about 20 pieces of art that you can put on the TV right away. But for a small fee, you can get a subscription that gets you access to a dizzying array of art, everything from Impressionist period right into modern photography. And to that end, if you fancy yourself quite the shutterbug, you can put your own stuff right up on this TV, and it's a great way to exhibit your own photography. There are a lot of different options available. But once you have that art or your own photography on the screen, how the TV handles that is very important. And in the case of the Frame, it's got sensors built in that reads the light level of your room, does a calculation, and then presents the artwork so that it looks like a piece of art and not like television. That means that it dims it down to the correct level, it maintains the right balance of contrast, and it holds it as a perfectly still image. It really does look like art. And then, when you step out of the room for any long period of time, the TV also knows about that, it'll turn itself off. And if somebody reintroduces themselves into the room, it lights up as artwork. It's all automated. You don't have to worry about that. So that's a great way to save power and also a great way to dress up the decor in your room. One more thing I want to mention, and this might help anybody who's thinking about installing a new TV soon. Samsung offers what's called the One Connect box, and this is one of my favorite things about Samsung QLED TVs right now. Everything gets plugged into this one box, which you can hide pretty much anywhere you want. And then with one fiber optic cable, it's very clear, you can see it here, one cable runs everything to the television, and that includes power. All the signal, all the power goes up to the TV panel from there. That's not much to hide at all, and that's assuming you want to hide it. You could also just paint it and it just completely disappears. But talk about a great, easy way to install a television. Oh, and I almost forgot, it's also a TV. I mean, all the talk about art, it does so much there, but it's also a really great TV. It's a QLED TV, so it's going to have expanded color gamut, great contrast. It looks fantastic as a television. It's a top-tier TV. It just also happens to be potentially a great piece of art in your home. Finally, we've got the Samsung Q900. This is an 8K TV. What does that mean? Well, 8K is a much higher resolution. It's 4 times the resolution of 4K. It's 16 times the resolution of 1080p. When you add all that up, that works out to about 33 million pixels in this screen. Why would you ever need so many pixels? Well, there's actually a practical reason. So TVs are getting bigger. We're buying bigger and bigger sets. Every single year, it tends to go up. I can't wait until I'm talking about how 75-inch is the new normal. Right now, it's 65. And the fact of the matter is, as those TV sizes are going up, guess what's happening to the size of our living room, to the placement distance of our couch to our TV? Nothing. It's staying exactly the same. And therein lies the problem. As the TV gets bigger, in order to avoid seeing the pixels, actually seeing things on like a pixel level, which is very distracting, you have to move further back. But you can't really do that. And besides, who wants to? Like, personally, I want my entire field of view to be taken up by a television. So in order to adjust for that, we have to increase the resolution of the TV. That way you can go up to a 65, a 75, an 82-inch television and not see the pixels. But there's something else that 8K brings to the picture, sorry for the pun, and that would be a greater sense of depth and realism. When you have that kind of fine resolution, you'd be amazed at what it can do to bring a sense of realism to you. Forget about the old premise of 3D. This is the new 3D. 8K brings that kind of realism. And when you see it for the first time, you kind of get it. Now, unfortunately, there's not a lot of 8K content out there, and Samsung knows this. It's going to be a while until we can feed our TVs native 8K content, and that's why the processor built into this television is essential. It has been designed very specifically to use AI and to basically upscale any resolution of content, but it's particularly good when it's using 4K content to boost that up to 8K level and do it in a very seamless way so that it fills every single pixel with exactly what needs to be there so that you get a great seamless image. 8K is very new. We're just starting to hear about it now, but what you're going to find is that down the road, 8K will become the new normal as well. Think about it. It's very difficult to buy a 1080p right now. 1080p TVs just aren't on the market, other than really, really small screen sizes. 4K is the new normal now, but in a few years, 8K is going to be the new normal, and Samsung is already on it. The Q900 here comes in sizes ranging from 55 all the way up to 98, which is crazy because that used to be projector territory. Now you can get a TV at that size, and it's in 8K, so you won't see a pixel. That's pretty awesome. We live in awesome times right now. So those are the 3 big classes of Samsung's QLED lineup: the 4K, the 8K, and the frame, all servicing a different need, whether you're very design conscious, or you want the highest possible resolution for your dedicated home theater, or you want the very best picture quality that you can get watching TV every single day. Samsung has something for everyone. And now, Greg, I hope you understand exactly what you need to get me for the holidays. I hope I've made that very clear to you at this point. I'll let you guess which one of these I want. But yeah, that's the rundown from here in the home theater room, and back to you.
Caleb, unfortunately, I am not your Secret Santa this year, so I will not be getting you the television, but I do appreciate you telling me all about them, and if you want to pick one up, I'd be more than happy to take that off your hands. All right, so there we go. Taking a look at Samsung's top-tier televisions. As always, great having Caleb Dennison on the show to walk us through that. He is our expert. We have more experts coming up, though, here on the show. Coming up next, we have Colin Morris from Adobe Analytics to talk about some of the trends in this holiday shopping season. Let's talk about the numbers. Let's talk about what people are getting. What are the hottest toys? What are the hottest items that people want? We're going to cover all of that and more, so drop in your comments and questions on whatever platform you're on. We'll make sure that we can bring those up as well. We'll be back here in a minute with more Digital Trends Live.
Apollo 11, your go for separation.
TV is making history again. The groundbreaking Samsung QLED 8K.
This is Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you're finding us. We do appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. And it is the shopping season that we have entered into right now, the holiday shopping season in particular. And there is so much information that's out there about it, so much to understand and figure out what is actually happening. And to help us with that, joining us right now, we have Colin Morris, who's the Director of Product Management for Adobe Analytics. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So with all of this information out there that you, I'm sure, go through so much data, trying to understand everything that's happening. I mean, it's analytics for all purposes here. So let's talk about this and talk about some of the big things that we're looking at. So I guess my first question is, what constitutes the start and end of the holiday shopping season?
So there's two ways to look at it, basically. There's the beginning of November 1st through the end of the Christmas shopping season on the 25th. That's normally what we look at for our aggregate numbers, but obviously there's a lot more of concentrations happening between Thanksgiving and Cyber Monday in terms of the deals and discounts that go on.
What's the overall dollar figure that we're looking at for estimations anyway, as far as what's going to be spent?
Yeah, so Adobe Analytics predicts that $143.7 billion is going to be spent online this holiday season.
Wow, just online, $143.7 billion. How does that compare to last year?
It's what we thought it was going to be a 14.1% year-over-year growth rate. As of this morning, we've seen $50 billion spent online already, which puts us much more towards 15% plus year-over-year growth. So strong showing already.
Wow. All right, so looking at it now, going into Black Friday, let's take a look at Black Friday versus Cyber Monday. How does the spending look compared to those two as far as estimation, as far as when are people buying more?
Yeah, so on Black Friday, we see $7.5 billion in online revenue as we estimated, which is about 20% year-over-year growth. Cyber Monday is the big one with $9.4 billion in estimated online revenue, and that's about 18% growth. The deals are a little bit different. So for Black Friday, an average discount of 9% we see for appliances, average discount of 6% for sporting goods. Cyber Monday is a little bit different. We see the best deal that you could get is a big TV. I think you guys were just showing those. We're estimating an average savings of 19% on that. What's interesting is that of the data that we've seen thus far already this year, it turns out that a lot of the retailers are already discounting that at an average of 17%. So a lot of those units are shipping earlier than we expected.
So is that kind of generally the trend? I mean, we've talked about it a little bit here on the show, but that people are, as far as retailers, they're starting these deals even earlier than Black Friday. And it just seems like each year over year it gets earlier.
Yeah, and especially this year, having 6 less days between Thanksgiving and Christmas, there's a truncated period. A lot of the retailers are starting their discounts earlier and trying to pull that forward because there's still about $1 billion that may be left on the table through to the truncated period. At the same time, though, we expect $1 billion in online sales each day, and we've already seen a couple that have $2 billion a day. So pretty massive trend thus far.
Well, talking about the things that people are buying, you mentioned sporting goods, televisions, and all of that, electronics. What are some of the hottest items that people are looking for this year?
Yeah, so interestingly, actually, maybe not so surprisingly, Apple's AirPod Pros are a big mover. Apple's laptops are a big mover. Samsung televisions are a big mover thus far. And on the toy side, Frozen 2 and any of the Disney-related Star Wars toys are moving pretty quickly already that we see.
So Baby Yoda is going to be huge, I'm sure. Well, so talking about that, and as far as gaming systems, I know that we have some news on that too, like the Nintendo Switch. Is that one of the biggest ones?
Yep, Nintendo Switch Lite for sure. Jedi Fallen Order, we're going to see a lot of Pokemon Shield and Sword. We expect those to be the two big titles, but a mix of the software and hardware. And obviously, there's a lot of bundling options for retailers across the gaming industry.
Talking about the Apple AirPod Pros, you mentioned those. There's a delay on them, isn't there? Just because of that, so many people are buying them up right now, or I could be wrong on that as far as shipping, just because so many people want them.
The data that we pull is mostly the online conversion sales data.
Gotcha.
So I'm not sure that we've seen the actual delay ourselves. We're mostly looking at, we look at about 80 of the 100 retailers in the US in terms of their online conversion, which is about 55 million products overall. So it's really that sort of data that we're looking at. I don't think we have the numbers in terms of the delays. That said, Another reason for buy online and pick up in store is a trend overall now, because a lot of people want to take the actions into their own hands to make sure that either same day shipping or they know that there's going to be their product in the run up to Christmas is a big trend that we see this year overall.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So there's this term, BOPUS. Is that how you're saying it? BOPUS or BOPUS?
I had pronounced it BOPUS. It's kind of an awkward acronym overall. It's a thing.
Yeah, buy online, pick up in store. And that's what it's standing for. So this is the first year that I've heard that actual term and talking about this phenomenon. So that seems to be something that a lot of people are doing. I guess I've certainly noticed it when driving around. You see retailers where they'll have special parking spots just for it. But this is becoming quite a trend with shoppers. Why do you think that is?
Well, a couple of reasons. I think that there's the rush between, the last week of Christmas and the run up, that people want to be able to have control or perceive in control, that they can go get it themselves. There's steep discounts that they can still take advantage of online, but make sure that it gets delivered on time. We think that 61% of online shoppers plan to take advantage of same day shipping or BOPUS this year. And it's great for retailers and in-store brick and mortar situations, because there's a lot of cross-sell that happens for them once someone actually gets in the store, even though they've already made their purchase ahead of time for their big ticket item. So, and as you probably can see, and I'm sure that you mentioned earlier, that there's a lot of retailers that are really leaning into this trend this year and promoting it. I was literally in a dressing room the other day and saw an ad for it, with the retailer. So it's something that I think that they really want to make sure that they're locking down.
Well, so it's definitely a term that we should all be familiar with going forward.
Indeed.
Well, Colin, I want to say thank you very much, too, for sharing the information here. Any other big stats that you think people should know about, or just pay attention and follow along?
Well, one of the most interesting ones for me, anyway, is that it's actually the steepest discount for retailers for electronics is on the 27th. Right after Christmas. So if they haven't cleared a lot of inventory, it's a great time to, get any sort of electronics you're looking for and save money maybe after for yourself.
So it may be worth it to hold off clicking that buy button and waiting until the 27th. All right, that is good to know. I'll keep that in mind. So taking a look at this all as a whole, I want to say thank you very much for joining us too. Is there anywhere people can go and take a look at the statistics that you guys have on this?
No, I think we normally just make sure that we can explain it live. A lot of data comes by the day, so we try to make sure that we have new updated numbers every day. So that's really our main medium by which we can explain it. So happy to have us on again.
Oh, well, there we go. All right, we'll have to do that. So thank you so much, Colin, for joining us. Really appreciate it, and thanks for filling us in a little bit on what's going to be going on here with this holiday shopping season.
Great. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, so again, a lot happening fast, and we're going to be covering a lot of it here at Digital Trends too. We've got a Black Friday special. We've got a 4-hour show on Cyber Monday, so if you're watching right now, definitely join us for all of those, where we'll keep you up to date on what some of those deals are, because they change so fast, and we want to make sure that you know what's going on. So we've got a lot to cover here on Digital Trends Live. Coming up next, though, we did talk about Apple products. We do have some talk about that. As far as the MacBooks, there's a lot that's out this year, and it's hard to discern which one is right for you. So we've got Luke Larson, who's going to come in here and talk about that a little bit more and try to help you figure out which one is best for what you want to do. So all that more coming up here on Digital Trends Live.
Apollo 11, your go for separation.
TV is making history again. The groundbreaking Samsung QLED 8K.
Hello, this is Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thank you for continuing to join us here on the show. We've got a lot to cover. It is an exciting day, a lot to talk about. But right now, we're going to cover MacBooks. There's a lot of them. There's a huge lineup that is out right now. And to help us understand this, we have Luke Larson, who's joining us right now. So, Luke, what are we looking at for the MacBook lineup? I feel like there's been a lot of announcements that have come out.
Yeah.
And so understanding what we have in this suite of laptops.
Yeah. So a year ago, I'll start with this. So a year ago, the MacBook lineup was a total mess. It was like there was a 12-inch MacBook. It was way too expensive. There was a 13-inch one that was too expensive, and then there was an old MacBook Air. It was just like all over the place. It was unclear about which one you should get. These days, it's a lot more clear-cut, I think, which is nice.
They've made it better to understand, easier to understand.
Yes, they've pulled some out. They've reduced the price on some ones. There's new versions of things. So it's honestly a good time to like look at MacBooks if you're looking at buying one. You know, it's the season for buying things apparently.
Yeah.
So
as they say.
yeah.
Well, taking
MacBooks,
a look at it from that way. So now that we understand what the lineup is a little bit more, let's walk through the individual computers as far as some of the features and things that people might be looking for.
Yeah. So like I said, there was a ton before. Now there's just 3.
There's just 3.
Really,
so it's down to 3.
Just 3.
Okay. See, that is good to know.
Yes. And it starts with the MacBook Air. That's the one I don't have here in the studio, but the MacBook Air is the kind of the entry level. It starts at $1,100. I think it's a fair price for that laptop. And this one was, let's see, it came out last fall, and then 2018. And then I got a little update earlier this year and got a price drop actually. So now it's $1,100. This is the kind of laptop it's great for a student, somebody who primarily is just going to be on the web and maybe running a few apps here and there, but nothing too heavy, not like a crazy multitasker or anything like that. But for just a basic computer, I think that's a good option. It has decent battery life. It's got kind of the features you would expect. It looks nice. It's sleek.
Yeah.
Has a nice screen, but it's not going to have a ton of power.
So if you're just looking to get into the MacBook lineup, MacBook Air, great way to start.
Yeah, and like I said, that's always what the MacBook Air used to be, the perfect thing to take to college, so that's what I would suggest for the MacBook Air. Only 2 core processor. Really, it comes down to the power of the processor and what those processors can do.
So going from there, what's the next step?
So the next step up from the MacBook Air is this. This is the 13-inch MacBook Pro, and this also got a price cut recently. And so this 13-inch MacBook Pro starts at $1,300, so it's $200 up from the MacBook Air.
Okay.
This one hasn't been updated in a little bit, but it did, like I said, get that price drop, and it has up-to-date processor and everything. But these are quad-core processors. Again, that's really where the difference in performance and what you can use these things for. I would really recommend this for somebody who's they use this laptop every day for work. They go to work with it all day. They like having a bunch of stuff going at the same time, kind of like a normal workflow maybe. This is totally dependable for that.
Okay.
Again, because it comes down to that quad-core processor.
And it's got the touch bar at the top.
It's got the touch bar at the
so
top.
That you can add in some. Can you add in hotkeys on that just to clarify? Or is
you can move things around. You can't
create
your own. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But correct. This is the first in the lineup. This is the first MacBook Pro with a actual touch bar at the top. It's not my favorite feature, honestly, but I think some people will like it, and it's really cool.
So that's looking at the 13-inch and quad core is what you said.
Quad core. You can't really you don't expect to play any games with this or anything. And honestly, I wouldn't even consider this something that you would if you're a video editor or something. You could maybe get by, but you'd run into some performance hiccups.
So skip past that if you're video editing.
Yeah. But again, not everybody has the money to shell out to the thing that we're going to get to.
Sure.
So this is maybe an option that people are thinking about, but really you are going to run up into some problems with that. Just kind of keep that in mind. But again, $1,300, and with all these options, you can always add on more storage, more RAM, and stuff like that. But those are the kind of the base configurations for. So this is $1,300. for the 13-inch MacBook Pro.
So 13-inch MacBook Pro, again, walking through the MacBook lineup. We've got the MacBook Air. Now we've got the 13-inch MacBook Pro. And then what's the next one up? Somebody wants to step it up another notch.
Step up from there. This is the high end, and this is the newest. This one just came out. We've got our review up, actually.
Yeah, this was just announced, what, a month ago?
Just a couple weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah. The new 16-inch MacBook Pro. This replaces the 15-inch MacBook Pro that has been out there for a while now. And this is where you get into, you really should not consider this laptop unless you, well, first of all, have some money to spend, obviously.
Yeah.
This starts at $2,400. But also have a need for some serious power.
Yeah.
Because like if you're a video editor, if you actually need this for content creation, there's all sorts of different use cases for a laptop that's this powerful. Starts with a 6-core processor. This one that we have here has an 8-core processor. All the options with the 16-inch MacBook Pro come with discrete graphics too. So
what does that mean?
So it's got these have the integrated graphics. So they're like pretty basic. You can't really do anything graphically intensive. You can't play games, any like 3D modeling or anything like that requires good graphics. You're not going to be able to do anything with the MacBook Air or 13-inch MacBook Pro. But with the 16-inch, you get some discrete graphics, which let you do those things a lot better.
So if you're a heavy video editor or a designer or
Yes.
something like that, this is something that you
Yes.
could actually function on.
Totally, and you have the, like I said, the option for the 6-core or the 8-core, $2,400 versus I think $2,700. You're going to be spending a lot of money either way, but this is a really, really powerful and really good laptop too. Because the other thing is that has been updated here is like the keyboard. We talked about that last time.
Yes, and the keyboard is updated from what the butterfly style that they had before.
Exactly, which is what you get with these other options. But this has the new Magic Keyboard, which it really is a much better keyboard. And I think a lot of professionals are going to love this laptop. So that's kind of like the high end there, the 16-inch MacBook Pro. I think right now this is an awesome option, and hopefully some of the things that are good about this are going to get passed down to the other ones maybe next year. But, you know, that it is what it is right now.
But right now, that's where we're at. So there's a 6-core and 8-core option.
Exactly, and both come with options for discrete graphics. You can also pump this thing up to 8 terabytes of SSD storage. You can do 64 gigabytes of RAM. I mean, you can really go to town with this thing, and you're going to get a super powerful laptop. And honestly, it is big. It's really big, actually. It's 16-inch screen. But I found that, like, taking it, home with me and to work every day, like throwing it in the backpack, it fits. And, and it's not like it's like 4.3 pounds. It's not like crazy. Don't feel it like super heavy or anything. It's just it's a really great, powerful laptop for that.
Well, if you're going to be using it for that intensive workload, I mean, this is something that it's a working computer. It's a tool that you're going to be using,
and you need it to be portable in that case.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason why you're not, lugging around a giant like workstation or like a desktop or something. Like, you need both the power and you need it to be portable, which I think this is a good balance of those two things.
Well, that's, again, walking through the MacBook lineup. So we had the MacBook Air, the MacBook Pro 13-inch, and then the MacBook Pro 16-inch, the one that was just announced a couple of weeks ago. So we've got it right here that you can pick that up. And Luke, thank you very much for walking through these. Yep. It does seem a lot sleeker and easier to understand now.
Yeah, it's just three.
It's just three. Yep. And Luke will be back here on Friday for Black Friday deals, talking about computing. So definitely you'll want to tune in for that. We'll know what all those deals are on Friday, and we'll keep you up to date, and you can order it right then and know what the best deals are to pick up. So we've got a lot more coming up here, though, on Digital Trends Live. So coming up next, we have Victor Santos, who's the co-founder and CEO at AirFox, to talk about essentially bringing financial mobile services to underserved communities. So people who don't have access to giant banks. And this is a huge push and a very important thing that's happening right now to give people access and financial mobility. So we're going to be discussing that and their platform and some of the overall issues that are going on there and some of the things they're solving. So all that's coming up right here. So stick around. Back here in a minute with more Digital Trends Live.
Apollo 11, your go for separation.
TV is making history again. The groundbreaking Samsung QLED 8K.
This is Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thank you for joining us. Hit that subscribe button on whatever platform you are watching. We do appreciate everybody who joins in the conversations. And talking about platforms, mobile-first banking platforms are certainly something that are helping to solve a lot of problems for a lot of people when it comes to financial technology. It's getting access to a lot of people. And we have somebody who's an expert in that right now. We have Victor Santos joining us, who's the co-founder and CEO at AirFox. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, Greg.
Hi, I want to see if we could walk through and give everybody an idea of what AirFox is and what some of the problems are that you saw in wanting to found this company.
Sure, yeah. Our vision since the very beginning, being an immigrant myself and having grown up in Brazil, which is one of the highest concentration of banking and costs in the world, my vision was always to accelerate financial inclusion. So AirFox's mobile-first bank today is primarily focused in my country, in Brazil, where the population is nearly half unbanked, and interest rates can range anywhere from 100 to 400% a year.
Wow, that is a crazy statistic, 100 to 400% per year. I mean, and with interest rates being issue, just to give everybody a kind of a broader context of understanding this, what are some of the other issues of not having direct access to standard financial institutions?
Yeah, most people are in a cash-based economy, right? So you have high inflation. You can't protect against that. So your money, you have to carry your money everywhere in dangerous neighborhoods where people can steal it. Long lines, you have to go and pay bills. And it sounds kind of intense, but in Brazil, even to have a bank account, sometimes you have to pay as much as, the equivalent of $10, $20 a month just to maintain a bank account. So we're trying to give a free mobile banking solution that's all smartphone based, where users can download and do nearly everything that a bank can do without the retail branches, and for free, essentially.
So what is the base platform of going with that, doing a mobile-first solution? Are you utilizing cryptocurrency, or how does that the monetization side of it work?
Yeah, so the way we make money, we have a partnership with MasterCard. So users, once they join the app, which takes about 5 minutes for them to open up a bank account, all digitally, they receive a prepaid card with a MasterCard logo, and every time they swipe, we make some money on the interchange fee that the merchants pay. We actually give that back. A lot of that back is cash back to the user. And then, of course, we also are giving credit. So we do make money on the credit, but it's much more affordable because we use machine learning to predict the behavior of these users instead of using archaic credit models. Usually these users are in the cash-based economy, so they may not have a bank account, but they do have a smartphone. So we can take the data on the smartphone to create a better underwriting system using better technology.
Which is such a huge thing, and I think that's an important statement to reiterate too, just for everybody, is that a lot of people have access to smartphones, but not necessarily access to these banking institutions, and they're at risk of so many different things. So looking at it from this way, I guess let's talk about how much AirFox has been adopted so far and what that's been like, and then where you see it going if everybody is able to get on this kind of system, what we will be looking at.
Yeah, so our strategy has been to have a digital-only solution, but have a branchless network through partnerships. So this is very common in Africa with M-Pesa, but hasn't really been replicated elsewhere. So we have a partnership with the largest retailer in Brazil, nearly 1,000 stores. But today we're in about 70 stores and saturating to another 200 stores until the end of the year. So these stores essentially act as branches where users can go there for support, deposit money into the app, withdraw money from the app. And the idea is to expand to other retailers so that we can focus on having a digital-only solution, but having kind of the branch-like feel of the offline as well integrated into it. So far, we have a few 100,000 accounts opened since this year. since we did the rebrand for our mobile product. And the goal is to be, like I said, in all the thousands of stores, which is also an acquisition channel for us until the end of the year, early next year.
Nice. So looking at that kind of expansion and that kind of adoption, what are some of the trends that you're seeing that some of your users are able to do now that they weren't able to do before?
Yeah, so the common use case, the very first use case is paying a bill. Today in Brazil, you'd have to go stand in line or go to the bank. In Brazil, the banks also don't open on weekends. And they close from 10 to 4. So they open at 10 and they close at 4. So it's very limiting, right? And just like grocery stores in low-income neighborhoods where you can't find any, and banks don't open retail agencies in low-income neighborhoods. So the retailer that we partnered with is a low-end retailer. So they are actually in these neighborhoods and they open till 10. They open on the weekend so they can go in there and make a deposit, immediately get it on their phone. They don't even need to leave their home to pay their bills. So that's like the first use case. The second use case is simply replacing cash, right? Or your bank that you're paying so many fees for, get a free digital and physical MasterCard, and you can use that to pay your bills and essentially operate like a bank. And then for certain users that qualify, then the third use case is to, as you use the app, we get more data from you, and then we can make a risk assessment of whether you can receive credit or not. And then the goal after that next year is to add savings and other financial products within the app.
Looking at these financial apps and just all of the great things they can do, there's of course always the concern now, and this is with anything, about security of data, security of transactions. How do you address that with this particular app?
Yeah, Brazil has a similar law that they've been implementing in terms of GDPR, where everything is anonymous. So even though we use the data to underwrite the credit, it's protected, it's encrypted. We're very careful about that, and it's clearly opt-in. We will only ask the data as you're applying for credit. We don't use that data for ads. We don't use that data for selling that to other credit card companies like many other companies do.
Well, Victor, thank you so much for joining us here to talk about this too. And we have a world audience that follows along with digital trends. And for those in Brazil that want to use this, is it just Brazil? I'm assuming right now, as far as utilizing the app, what's the best way for them to get started?
It's an international MasterCard, but yes, today is only available in Brazil, and the goal is to expand that in all over Latin America in the coming years.
So if somebody wants to join, though, in Brazil, how do they do that?
Simply on the Google Play Store, they can join the app and sign up in a couple minutes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us to talk about this. It's such an important thing to bring, financial access to so many different people, and obviously can change lives. And that sounds like, what this is doing, and hopefully it'll be all for the good for so many different people. Thank you for being here and talking about this on Digital Trends Live.
Good to be here. Thanks, Greg.
All right, so a lot to talk about here on Digital Trends, and we like to bring you up to date on everything that's going on in technology. And financial technology is certainly a huge factor, a huge segment, and we like to see the expansion and growth on there and what people are doing. All right, coming up next, let's talk about travel. So if you follow along at the TSA, you've probably seen some of their Instagram posts, some of their TikTok posts involving Lisa Farbstein. So she is the spokesperson for the Office of Public Affairs. She's going to be joining us to talk about what we can bring on a plane and what we can't, right? That's the big question a lot of times. You show up at the airport, you're like, okay, what tech can I bring on here? What's allowed? What's not? How many mini bottles can I bring? So we're going to be discussing all of that and more. So if you have questions, this is a great time to drop in your question if you're watching live. Let us know what you want us to ask Lisa, and we will do so. That's coming up next right here on Digital Trends Live.
Apollo 11, your go for separation.
TV is making history again. The groundbreaking Samsung QLED 8K.
Yep. Nope. That is brilliant. Hello, everyone. This is Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thank you for joining us. It is the holiday season, and it means a lot of us are traveling. There's an estimate out there right now that almost 32 million people will travel during the Thanksgiving holiday season alone. Maybe it's even more than that. It's a lot of people that are traveling right now. But the thing that we all have to deal with is what can we bring on a plane? What can we bring through security? What can we not? And we have right now from the Office of Public Affairs, the spokesperson. It is the woman you just saw in that video. It's Lisa Farbstein. Hello. Thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. So you are our TSA expert here. We've got a number of questions that we compiled, and we just want to ask you straight up what we can and what we can't bring on because it's so confusing sometimes. All right, first question. How many laptops can you bring on a plane?
You can bring as many as you can carry, but once you get to the checkpoint, you have to take them out of your carry-on and put them in a bin with nothing above them and nothing below them so we can get a good x-ray image of them.
All right, so as many as you want. That is good to know. Can you bring a drone on a flight?
You can bring a drone. It's probably best if you put that in your check bag.
Can you fly a drone on a flight?
No, you cannot.
Okay. What kind of batteries, this is something that I feel has come up a lot. What kind of batteries can you bring on a plane and what kind do you have to check or vice versa?
Well, actually, that's something that the Federal Aviation Administration oversees, and they want to make sure that your lithium batteries are, I don't know that one. That's an FAA question. I know that they really look at those lithium batteries.
Fair enough. Yeah, we're just throwing them at you, so you're getting all kinds of things right now. Okay, are there any, along those lines, and this may be the same type of question, are there any types of phones that are banned? Or would that be an FAA question?
That would be an FAA question. So we're focused on security.
Okay.
And that's something a little different.
Okay. So walking through security, let's ask this. One of the things that's huge is waiting in line, and everybody gets, gets a little temperamental waiting in line for checking in or going through security. What's your number one suggestion that people should do ahead of time to get through quicker?
So if you are already in line, you see yourself in a line, what you do is you should use that time to your advantage. That's the ideal opportunity for you to take things out of your pockets and put them in your carry-on bags. Now, we recommend that you put them in your carry-on bags and not directly in the bin because you're more likely to be able to take them with you. You'd be surprised at how many people actually leave things inadvertently in the bin. Common things being, say, keys, ID, glasses, this time of year, gloves, hats, scarves. And so we recommend you use that time in the line to take things out of your pockets, divest, put them in your carry-on bag. Also, that's the perfect time for you to get out your ID and your boarding pass. You want to have them out and ready so when you get up to the ticket document checker, you're not fumbling in your wallet or your handbag because if you do that, you're going to get the stink eye from the passengers behind you. And you don't want to start your trip with a stink eye.
No, nobody wants the stink eye. I've given the stink eye. Nobody wants to receive the stink eye. So
exactly.
talking about people bringing things through the line, what's one of the top things that people bring through that they don't realize they can't?
I think I would say people tend to bring bottles of water and oversized liquids, gels, and aerosols. So, for example, you cannot bring your full bottle of water with you, but you could bring an empty bottle, fill it up on the other side to save yourself a few bucks. So we see a lot of people who bring oversized liquids, gels, aerosols. You can bring solids. Like this time of year, a lot of people traveling with food as we've gone through the Yep Nope TikTok. And so if it's a solid item, you can bring it in your carry-on bag. If it's a liquid gel, if you can spray it or spill it. So what we do is we say if you can spill it, spray it, spread it, pump it, or pour it, then it should go into your check bag.
I'm going to memorize that so that I can repeat it to myself in the line next time.
I think you should say it 2 or 3 times quickly. Spill it, spray it, pump it, pour it.
Swap it, pump it, pour it, spray it. Okay, I already feel about that.
You have to work on that.
Okay, I'll work on it. I'll get that down. Well, talking about this, bringing liquids through, it is the holidays, and for some people, this might be something you want to bring. What's the maximum number of mini bottles of alcohol one can bring through the line?
That depends how good you are at packing your 311 bag. 311 bag is 1 quart size bag, 1 bag per person, and it's got to have any liquids, gels, aerosols in it have to be 3.4 ounces or smaller. That's the international standard of 100 milliliters. So if you can cram a lot of them in there, go for it.
All right, nice.
Happy to get you through.
So forget about the hairspray. I don't need any of that stuff. I'm just going to pack it with that. All right, good to know. Another common question that we see a lot of people talking about when it comes to companion pets and emotional support animals. Is there any rules or regulations associated with that on what you can bring through the line?
We'll screen them. It's up to the airline how many of the animals that they're going to allow on the flight.
Okay. This is a tech company. You've probably seen some of the videos of the Boston Dynamics robot dog. I don't know if you've seen this. It's something that a lot of people are utilizing right now. So it's actually a robotic dog creature that follows along. Would that be something that's allowed through a security check-in?
I'm sure that would be something that we would have to make sure did not pose a security threat. And as long as we're reassured that it's not a security threat, we'll screen it. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So I can bring my robot dog, most likely. Let me ask you this. What actually happens when you don't put your phone in airplane mode? Is that an FAA question or a TSA question?
That's an FAA question. I'm so sorry.
No, that's you. You are answering we're throwing all kinds of things at you. Let's just, throw you to the wind here. Let's try a lightning round of some questions. And I'm just going to throw out something. You tell me yes or no. Hair straighteners.
Hair straightener. You can bring that in your carry-on bag, sure.
Okay. This is one that was asked. We'll say it was from a friend who posted this and wanted me to ask this. Laser hair removers was being asked.
Laser hair? I don't even know what that is.
Okay. What about live food? As far as food, can you bring a live lobster through?
People do. Yes, you can. Typically, they are packed to go in a check bag, but if you wanted to carry that on, fine. We would just encourage you to make sure that if it's packed with ice, that the ice is solid. It can't be melted. If it's melted, of course, that means it's a liquid. So you want to make sure it's a solid. And yeah, bring the lobster. Go for it.
You can bring a live lobster through there. Okay. What about as far as, people will have wheelchairs or things like that. Can you bring a Segway through a check-in line?
I think that's going to come down to the airline again, and whether the airline is going to allow you to put that in the cabin of the plane.
But you can bring it through the check-in line and you're okay. Security.
We'll screen just about everything. That's for sure. And we have. We surely have.
Okay, anything else that you think that people should know when going through a security line on the holidays that they should be aware of?
I think that a lot of people have questions just like you do as to whether you can bring something in your check bag, your carry-on bag, either or neither. And the best way to find out is we have a social care team. They're on Twitter, and you can just take the picture of the item. So let's say you wanted to bring cranberry sauce with you. So you can either take the picture of the item and say, can I bring this item with me through the checkpoint, or should I put it in my check bag, to carry-on bag or check bag, or you can just type in the question, can I bring my cranberry sauce? And you'll find out in short order. That's at Ask TSA on Twitter or via Facebook Messenger. We also have a free downloadable app for that. It's called My TSA, and you can download that. It's got a great feature. When I fly, can I bring my? You type in the item and let you know right away while you're packing whether you can put that in your check bag or your carry-on bag. So take advantage of those options. That's great. I don't want to sit next to somebody who's eating a can of cranberry sauce on the plane anyway, so I don't think that's something anybody wants. Final question. What is in all of this time that you've been doing this and all these different things that people try to sneak through, what's one of the craziest things you've seen somebody try to bring through a security check-in line that they can't? Oh, that they can't? I'm always been... my favorite prohibited item is an axe. Yeah. Yeah. No, you can't make it up. I mean, usually it's sharp items, axes, machetes, cooking knives, sushi knives, fishing knives, hunting knives, Swiss Army knives, Boy Scout knives, credit card knives. If there's a knife, we've seen it. Knives. All the knives. What happens to the items when you confiscate them? So actually, it's a fine line. Do we confiscate them or not? So if you show up at the airport, and let's use an example with a knife, you show up at the checkpoint with a knife, you're given a choice. Hey, you have a knife, you can't bring that past the checkpoint. How do you want to handle it? You can put it in your check bag, you can hand it off to a non-traveling companion, you can run it back and put it in your car. Some airports have mailing centers, so you can mail it to your destination or back home. Your last resort is to voluntarily surrender it to TSA. And if you do that, in the case of, say, a knife, the state picks it up. We save them. The state picks it up. They sell it, and the state makes a profit. TSA makes no profit. If somebody's bringing an oversized liquid, maybe it's an oversized toothpaste or an oversized tube of hair gel, that just gets thrown away.
Okay, I always wondered that. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for taking some time to talk to us. I know this is a really busy time of year for you. It's always busy. But thanks for being here on Digital Trends Live, giving us some advice. And everybody follow Lisa on Twitter. We're going to post up all the accounts for everybody to follow you. And TSA Media _ Lisa F on Twitter. And follow TSA on Instagram. Thank you so much for being here on Digital Trends Live.
Okay. And happy Thanksgiving to you.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you too. All right, as we're marching through the show, that is just awesome. Huge thank you to Lisa for joining us here on Digital Trends Live. I know she's busy. We have other things we have coming up, though, too. We have a lot to talk about here on the show. So we have Kyle Campbell, the founder and CEO of CTO.ai, who's going to be joining us next. We have our holiday gift guide. Adrian Mortar is going to be getting to talk about that. So all that's coming up. Back here in a minute with more Digital Trends Live.
Apollo 11, your go for separation.
TV is making history again. The groundbreaking Samsung QLED 8K.
This is Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thank you for joining us, keeping you up to date on what's going on in technology and different trends, and talking about programming right now and different solutions that are out there as far as worker solutions and different ways that we can actually use AI to solve a lot of problems. And to talk about that and a little bit more, we've got Kyle Campbell, who's the founder and CEO of CTO.ai. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Greg, thanks for having me.
So I know there's a lot that we're going to cover, but I want to give everybody just an idea of what CTO.ai is and what the problems were that you saw that you wanted to solve by founding this company.
Yeah, CTO.ai is a community platform where developers can build and publish what we think of as shortcuts. An average developer deals with thousands of different tasks every day, often very complex tasks. And what we allow for developers to do is build shortcuts, publish them to this open community where then other developers can use them in their day-to-day work to streamline their productivity across their entire team. We think this is the best way to create what is commonly called a 10x developer. That's one developer who can help 5 other developers be 2 times more efficient. And the net problem that we're solving is that businesses are very challenged in the current hiring market to bring in and compete for the technology talent that they need. And what we do is we help them implement these tools that allow for those developers that are in their teams to be incredibly productive.
So is there a shortage of developers that are out there right now?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a great report by the Stripe Coefficient that says not only is the access to capital no longer a higher threat than access to technical talent, there's actually 300 billion lost within developer productivity just for the developers that we do have access to. But the statistics show that in 2020, 1 out of every 4 jobs will be filled, and there's going to be 1 million developers jobs left unfilled in 2020 alone, just in the U.S. So there is an incredible challenge around acquiring talent that is needed. A lot of times these experienced developers end up in large companies, and that can make it really challenging for mid-market or small businesses to be able to invest into the success and grow their teams.
That's crazy that there's that much of a shortage that's going to be happening. I mean, that's a lot. So this is definitely a solution that can help a lot of people out. What has the response been so far since rolling out?
Yeah, it's been incredible. I mean, I think companies are really, really challenged with this. And what we try to do is pair a really great developer experience while also solving the needs of the business. And so at the end of the day, what we really believe in is if you can invest into the success of the development teams who are building the future of consumer technology, industry, fintech, all of these different technologies that are coming into our day-to-day lives, we can really make a pretty incredible impact on the future of work. We believe that there's going to be another 60 million developers who come online And automation has always been at the center of software development. We think we have a really prudent and human-centric way of enabling that to help more people access software development as a career choice.
Well, talking about that from that, a human-centered approach with development, but also AI, how are you creating all of these shortcuts yourself? What does the workload on that look like?
Yeah, well, the short answer is we're not, positioning ourselves as a company who's necessarily using AI, even though it says AI in the domain name. What we think about is more automation intelligence and how you can help empower a human to automate redundant and mundane tasks while still giving them the control. Over time, what we see happening is more of a community and a network effect where the best shortcuts sort of rise to the top, and now developers have what we think of as the easy button for DevOps so that they can be really productive and efficient in their job. And perhaps they join a new company that will help them ramp up into their role in that company and be really successful very quickly.
So looking at this going forward and where you're at right now, I mean, it's the company is obviously doing great so far. Where do you see this kind of work going? I mean, you talked about the shortage that's going to be happening, but as far as development work, there's going to be no shortage of that. I mean, every company is going to be needing more and more and more and more exponentially. How do you anticipate handling all of that, like say 5 years from now?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think there's no shortage of demand for technical talent, and every company is becoming, to some degree, a technology company more and more and more. They're adopting it, and so they have these struggles where they do need to be able to, invest in the success of these development teams. So, what we're really thinking about is those next 60 million developers who are coming online. How can we make it incredibly accessible? And what is the tools that they need to be successful in the market? The market is in a place where there's a fragmentation that's occurring between what we think of as more generalist developers who maybe are called full stack developers who have a more broad set of experiences. You would commonly call this the jack of all trades versus specialized developers. And more technologies are becoming very, very specialized. And so to the extent that we can enable this larger pool of generalist developers to be able to be efficient with very specialized technologies, we think that'll help really address this talent gap.
So really, it just increases the ability for all of these workers out there who are, looking for more opportunities. They're going to be able to do more with their skill set that they already have, that previously they may not have been this specialized developer.
Absolutely, and they spend, the goal is to have developers spend their time, every day shipping features that your customers love. And a lot of these specialized technologies mean they have to go down a pretty complex rabbit hole. And the analogy we often use is it can feel like a snake swallowing an elephant to a mid-market business because there's so much complexity in some of these technologies. So, we want to not only enable these generalists and these developers to be efficient in a specialized setting, but you want to also give them back core hours that they can spend focused on the things that they're really passionate about, which will move the needle for the business. And a lot of times that may be things like new features on a website that is more of a user experience element than dealing with something that's more complicated, maybe at the database or cloud level.
Nice. It's giving back that time to the developer themselves. I love that idea of it. Well, for Kyle, for everybody out there who wants to know more about this and join, obviously CTO.ai, the branding's on point. But for somebody who goes there to join in, do they just take a look at it and then they can opt into it or sign up? What's the easiest way for them to get involved?
Absolutely. So we just announced an open community beta along with a very large seed round. And what we're really focusing on now is building that community. So anybody can come to cto.ai, that is the domain name, and they can sign up and with a very little bit of development expertise, get started building and publishing workflows. We're also making all of these workflows available via a partnership with Slack very soon. And what that'll mean is even if you don't have specialized developer skills, you'll be able to interact with it through a natural language interface in Slack. And honestly, I've tested it with my mom, and it works great. She loves it, and it's that easy for anyone to be able to adopt it.
That is a great testament right there. All right, that's fantastic. Well, congratulations on the success that you have and where it's going. This sounds like a really great process that you've started here, a really great company that you've got going, and congrats on that success. And thanks for joining us here on Digital Trends Live to talk about it.
Thanks for having me on the show, Greg.
All right, so that is really interesting, kind of democratizing access to developer code and being developers. And I mean, his mom did it. That's a pretty great testimony right there. I don't know his mom, though, so I can't say for sure. Maybe she was already a developer. But all right, let's continue on here. We've got one more segment. So it is the holidays, and we need gift guides to help us out on deciding what to get. And Digital Trends always puts out a great one. We've got our holiday gift guide that just went live. We've got Adrian Warner who's going to join us. We're going to walk through a few of the many, many products that are on there to help you decide what to get for that person in your life. So stick around back here in a minute with more Digital Trends Live.
Apollo 11, your go for separation.
TV is making history again. The groundbreaking Samsung QLED 8K.
Hello, this is Digital Trends Live, and we are here every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, keeping you up to date on technology. And right now, we're going to keep you up to date on what to buy for the holidays for the person in your life. And that's why we have the holiday gift guide. We've got Adrian Warner here.
Hello.
And this just went live. This is something we always put out. We've got a lot of different gift guides that go up during the year, but this one in particular is very popular for good reason.
Yes, for good reason, because it's kind of the creme de la creme. Our holiday gift guide is chock full of our editors' picks for gifts for the entire family for the holidays. So this year we wanted to really focus and make sure that there's something for everybody in the family that's going to delight. So this is exactly it, just kind of the best of the best.
Best of the best. And
Yeah.
we've got a huge list online at the site so that you can go there and take a look through all of that. And we break it down by those categories as far as different age groups. But we've got a few things here that we wanted to walk through just to showcase some of them. And we want to start off with kids.
Yeah, let's start off with the kids.
with the
I mean, they're
kids.
probably the ones ripping open the presents first, right? Naturally.
Yeah.
So the first thing that we have is the Amazon Fire HD10 Kids Edition tablet. And while it looks like a toy, it is a legit real tablet. It has beautiful 1080p display on a 10.1 inch screen. And you can get hours and hours of entertainment on this thing. There's apps, there's games, movies, and it's really easy to control the content on it and the hours that your kid is watching, or your friend's kid or whatever,
Right.
from the Amazon. Actually, they'll probably control that. The parents will.
The kid or
through
whatever.
The Amazon. Through the Amazon. I know a lot of kids, clearly. Through the Amazon parental control dashboard. So it's really easy to figure out exactly like the amount of hours that you want your kids to be focusing on education versus free time, and it's really durable. I mean,
Yeah, I was
this
gonna
case
say,
is
that looks like
pretty
you could drop
cool.
it.
You can definitely drop it. You could definitely try to drop it. The good thing is if you do drop it and something does happen, it comes with 2 years of worry-free guarantee. So they will replace your tablet.
That is great. I kind of want that for myself.
If things go wrong.
Yeah.
We'll get you one for
Please
you
control.
can just watch digital trends over.
That's all. Yeah, please control the content that I watch. All right, got that. What's another one for the kids?
Something else for kids. If they are still into screen time, but you want to get them a little bit more hands-on, we've got this cool Nintendo Labo, which if you've never seen this is super cool. It is essentially a way to make these things called toy cons. So you make little controllers out of cardboard for your Nintendo Switch. And it comes with a variety of games. So things like a fishing rod, you make your own fishing rod out of these cardboard punch-outs, and then you play a fishing game with it, or like a little control for like a motorbike. And like you physically can make these things with your kids and then play them.
I am already jealous of kids that get to play with this, and I kind of want it myself.
It's so cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah, this is the variety pack. So yeah, it comes with a Toy-Con motorbike. You can make a house, a fishing rod. It also comes with a program where you can design and make your own creations out of cardboard. So
that's awesome.
If your kid is like, okay, I've made all of them, what's next? They can design and create them themselves.
Very cool. So that's the Nintendo Labo.
Very ingenious, Nintendo Labo. And especially, my parents didn't love to buy me video game consoles. They wanted me to do more hands-on things when I was a kid. And this is kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah, look. Yeah, you can do both. That's perfect. Well, and that's part of on the kids section for the holiday gift guide at Digital Trends. So those are just 2 items on there. There's a whole lot more that you can take a look at, just highlighting and showcasing some of them. So we've got Nintendo Labo here. Let's go on to teens.
Yes, teens. So teens, we have this amazing product that we've picked out called the Fret Zealot. Here we go. It's basically a guitar novice's dream. So it teaches you how to play guitar with LED stick-on lights that you attach to the fretboard. It does take a little bit of installing. You have to de-string your guitar and then attach them and put them back on. But our reviewers loved this product. It comes with an app that easily shows you different chords and notes, chord progressions and songs that you can play. So it's like a really intuitive way to learn an actual guitar. And I don't think I even mentioned this. You put this on a real guitar. This isn't like Guitar Hero.
This
is like the next level.
Get off of the Guitar Hero, kids. Come on, learn how to play a real guitar. It's way cooler.
It's way
Trust
cooler.
me, it will pay off. It will pay off.
This is for the aspiring musician, teen in your life, or a lot of people I feel like on their New Year's resolution list, they're like, I'm gonna start playing the guitar this year. I'm gonna pick up an instrument, and this is the product.
No more excuses.
No more excuses.
Let
they
the
make
rocking
it super
commence.
easy. They color coordinate with each finger, the little LED lights, so you know exactly where you're placing your fingers and why and what sound that makes.
Nice. That's Fret Zealot. I believe we even had them on Digital Trends Live at one point. I think
very
there's an
cool.
interview
Yeah,
with
they're
them.
Kickstarter backed.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's really awesome. So that's Fret Zealot, another thing that's on the teens list. And walking through this again, so it's a gift guide for everybody. We've covered the kids, we've covered the teens, and huge lists there. Let's talk about parents.
Parents,
Where do we
okay.
get parents?
So parents, one of our major picks here is we've always been really, really impressed with J-Bud's, J-Lab's.
It's a tongue twister.
It's a tongue twister. J-Lab's earbuds, and these ones are specifically for the person who goes and hits the gym really hard in your life. So maybe your parents are working on their gym routine or are looking for a really comfortable pair of earbuds that are easily controlled. These J-Buds are really going to do the trick. So they come with their own little charging case. They get a really good amount of playtime back, and you can actually individually turn them on and off from the earbud itself, which is nice, not just remotely from your phone or something like that. So they're sweat-proof, they're dust-proof, so they can just kind of take all kinds of wear and tear, and they're, like I said, really supremely comfortable.
The J-Buds AirSport wireless headphones.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, mouthful, but those are awesome.
But they're really nice.
Yeah,
and they
really
have
cool.
a really cool little charging cord that comes out of the case, which I think is really clever design. I'm going to put that over here so you can actually see it. There you go. So like this little charging cord sits flush with the case, and then you just flop it back in.
Nice.
And it's nice and compact. Yeah.
All right. And let's see. We're taking a look here at some other ones. Let's drop this that screen down. And let's see. What else do we have here? So we're talking about the parent side of things.
Parent side of things. So yeah, for more adventure-focused parents, I mean, we're in the Pacific Northwest, and everybody likes to do stuff outdoors. You cannot go wrong with the GoPro 8, GoPro Hero 8 Black. So this is, you're going to get stunning 4K resolution for a fraction of the cost that you would spend on like a normal high-end camera. This thing takes incredible photo and video.
Yeah, they are great.
These are really cool. So it comes with this really cool hyper stabilization technology where, you know, in the past I was never interested in getting a GoPro because you watch it and it's like, you know,
all that shaky footage.
This has none of it. Hyper Smooth 2.0 keeps everything super level, and it also comes with this cool time-lapse option where you can do a time-lapse video that's also stabilized.
Very cool. Yeah, that Hyper Smooth is huge. That advancement that they have.
Yeah, our reviewers tested it out on, you know, hikes. They tested it out on roller coasters, and it stayed smooth the entire time. So excellent product for the price.
So that's the GoPro Hero 8, and we have a review of that too that you can check out at digitaltrends.com for pretty much all of this stuff. So going from there, so a couple of parents' ideas. Let's go to the next age group, grandparents.
Grandparents. So something that I think we all think about when it gets a little bit colder is the temperatures in our house. We have the ecobee smart thermostat, which I know that they're having a lot of sales right now with the Black Friday deals. So this is definitely something to check out. It's a smart thermostat, which I think everybody should be interested in. You know, you get a little bit scared of, and I feel like people who are not as familiar with technology, maybe your grandparents, you know, don't use a lot of technology. This is still really easy to install. It comes with, I think it's like a guarantee of only a 30-minute install. And then you can really control your temperature in your house from anywhere, from your phone, from your Alexa-enabled device, from your Apple HomeKit. The ecobee is just a really easy to use thermostat. So it comes with this little nice LED touchscreen. It lights up whenever you walk towards it. And then it comes with a sensor too. So, you know, it doesn't just control the temperature in the room that you're in. The other rooms in the house also feed back to the ecobee and say, hey, you know, turn on or off based on if somebody is in the room or not.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I love that idea. Well, that is the ecobee. So that is our ecobee, and that is also, we have a review of that at digitaltrends.com. So you can take a look at all these products. And again, these are just a tiny sampling of the holiday gift guide. And we put this out to actually help everybody out to learn what it is that you should be getting and what you can get out there for the people in your life.
Yeah, so it's live on our site right now. If you need some ideas of what to gift for the special people in your life, go to digitaltrends.com and check out the holiday gift guide.
Fantastic. Well, Adrienne, thank you so much for showcasing these. I kind of want several of the things that you already showed on here, so I'm just going to walk off of those, but probably can't do that. But that is what we have. So we have covered a lot of technology here on Digital Trends Live, but coming up, so tomorrow you won't be seeing me. We actually won't be live. We'll be having one day off where we're going to be taking our Thanksgiving dinner with our families, and thanks to everybody who is working on this show. Huge thank you to our production staff here at Digital Trends that make each and every episode happen. Especially Kelsey Lukens.
He's the best.
He's the best.
He's
straight off the top of my head. That's just where that came from.
You know, that's really nice that you called him out
Thank
for all
you.
of the hard work.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that it was aware that I had to do that. All right, we'll be back. Thanks to everybody on our production staff. Seriously, everybody, we work really hard here to bring you this show, and I'm thankful to everybody who tunes into this show.
We're thankful for you, Greg Nibbler.
Why, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And it's a lot of fun bringing you this every day here. So we will be gone tomorrow, but we'll be back on Black Friday. So we'll be covering, as usual, all of the top tech deals. So as we talked about with the holiday gift guide, our editors have scoured thousands of deals to make sure you're getting the best products at the best price. So we live with this, we're talking to Caleb Dennison about TVs. We'll have Luke Larson back on talking about computing deals. We'll have Drew Prindle with gadgets and drones and other always cool tech products. So you won't want to miss any of that. We'll have a lot more too, and that's all going to be live on Friday for Black Friday. 4-hour show for Cyber Monday. So stick around for that, and we will talk to you on Friday for Digital Trends. I'm Greg Nibbler. Travel safely. I'll see you right here with another episode on Friday.